It all begins with the kind of silence that only comes before an earthquake. The type of heavy silence that hangs over a family where too many secrets have been buried, too many wounds have been ignored, and too many truths have been locked behind polite smiles. That silence shattered the moment Tamar Braxton decided she wasn't going to play along anymore. Behind the cameras, behind the glam, behind the music and the fame, she had watched the same cycle repeat for decades. Someone gets hurt, someone gets silenced, and the rest of the family pretends everything is fine. But this time, when it came to her niece Ashley Braxton, she refused to let history repeat itself. While filming the second season of their show, tensions were already reaching a boiling point. Producers could sense it, fans could feel it, even Toni Braxton, the always composed queen of calm, felt the energy becoming so toxic that she ended up walking off the set. And the root of the tension? A storm that had been brewing around Ashley's painful past and the family's desperate attempts to keep certain truths in the dark. Tamar, who knew what it felt like to be silenced after experiencing her own childhood trauma, watched Ashley struggle with the same pattern, the same avoidance, the same hush-hush whispers, the same pressure to keep family business in the family. Ashley had finally found the courage to open up about the abuse, the fights at home, and the emotional chaos she grew up in. She shared her truth about the physical and emotional violence she witnessed, the harm she endured, and the toll it took on her and her late sister Lo. But instead of receiving protection, support, and comfort, she hit the same wall Tamar once hit: resistance, denial, and silence. When Ashley revealed the inappropriate messages from Gabe Solis, Trina Braxton's late husband, she hoped the truth would set her free. But instead, Trina cut her off. Instead of hearing her out, she shifted blame, minimized the situation, and insisted Ashley was telling her truth, not the truth. That one sentence sliced through the family like a knife, and to Tamar, it showed exactly why Ashley needed an ally. Because she knew what it felt like when grown adults refused to believe a hurting child. So Tamar brought Ashley on her podcast, a place where Ashley could finally speak without fear. But the moment that interview aired, the Braxton family sent a cease and desist letter. A legal threat, a silencing tactic. And when that letter landed on Tamar's doorstep, something inside her snapped. She confronted her sisters, demanding answers, demanding accountability, demanding to know who gave her address to the family attorney. She was expecting honesty, but what she got instead was manipulation and gaslighting. When Towanda Braxton was questioned, she deflected, she twisted the narrative. And instead of addressing the cease and desist, she launched a nuclear accusation at Tamar, an accusation that stunned even the fans watching from home. She claimed Tamar slept with one of Toni Braxton's men. It was a direct hit, a low blow, a strategic attack meant to distract from the real question: who betrayed Tamar? By sending her private address to a lawyer, the table shook, voices rose. The cameras recorded every second, and for the first time, fans saw the cracks in the sisterhood widen into something far more dangerous. Tamar erupted in disbelief while Towanda sat stiff. Deflecting. She had no proof. She had no details, but she had enough venom to wound. The rumor hit social media instantly, with fans speculating whether it was Birdman, Toni's current partner, especially after Tamar was seen wiping sweat off his forehead during a recent performance. But Tamar quickly shut that down. She facetimed Toni and Birdman publicly, laughing, playing, reminding the world that her loyalty to her sister was deeper than any rumor could shake. But fans pointed out something else, that Towanda wasn't actually referring to Birdman. They claimed she was hinting at Carrie Lewis, Toni's ex-husband. And when that name got whispered online, the entire fandom lost its mind. Because that accusation wasn't just messy, it was nuclear. Meanwhile, Tamar also revealed something even darker, that Towanda had allegedly stolen money from her. That for years, she had used Tamar's credit without permission, and this time, when Tamar confronted her, Towanda didn't even deny it. She just launched another attack. Another distraction, another way to avoid accountability. This wasn't just sibling rivalry. This wasn't petty family drama. This was generational trauma exploding on national television. One sister trying to break a cycle, two sisters desperate to keep old secrets buried, and one family tearing itself apart in front of millions. And this was only the beginning. The room was already trembling with tension. But after Towanda Braxton threw that wild accusation about Tamar Braxton sleeping with Toni Braxton's man, the energy snapped like a rubber band stretched too far. You could feel every emotion vibrating through the air: rage, betrayal, disbelief, humiliation, and none of it was going back in the box, not this time. Not after everything that had already been buried under decades of silence. For a moment, Tamar just stared at Towanda, her face hardening in real time, her breath caught somewhere between shock and heartbreak. Because this wasn't just a rumor, this wasn't just a shady dig. This was a direct attack on her character, her loyalty, her love for her sister Tony, and the foundation of a relationship she had spent her entire life protecting, whether it was about Birdman, Carrie Lewis, or any other man connected to Tony. The accusation wasn't just disrespectful, it was destructive. And the saddest part, it wasn't even about truth, it was about deflection. It was about Towanda shifting blame away from the cease and desist, away from giving out Tamar's address, away from the secrets she didn't want to face. Because when Tamar pressed her, when Tamar demanded accountability, Towanda's first instinct wasn't honesty. It was to deflect and attack. Tamar, shaking with anger, fired back with her own truth. She reminded Towanda about the money Towanda allegedly borrowed, used, and never paid back. The credit cards, the financial hits, the support that turned into exploitation. Tamar had receipts, Tamar had memories. Tamar had years of watching her kindness be taken for granted, but Towanda didn't deny it. She didn't defend it, she didn't even explain it. She went quiet, the kind of quiet that only guilty people fall into. And instead of answering, she doubled down on pushing the "you stole a man" narrative. It was a moment so messy, so loud, so emotionally raw, that even Trina Braxton looked uncomfortable. Yet Trina stayed silent because she had her own secrets to keep. Meanwhile, the shadow of Ashley's story, the original wound, still hung over everything. Because the truth is, none of this chaos started with money or men. It started when Ashley Braxton found the courage to speak about the abuse and trauma she lived through, the physical violence, the emotional damage, the manipulation, the pain she and her late sister experienced, the guilt, the fear, the silence that suffocated her entire childhood. And when Ashley spoke, Tamar recognized the little girl inside herself, the one who wasn't believed, the one who wasn't protected, the one who got pushed aside to preserve family image. Tamar was re-traumatized by watching her niece go through the same dismissal she once faced. That's why she fought so hard, that's why she refused to be quiet. Because she had lived this story before, and she refused to let it happen again. But Trina, instead of holding space for Ashley's truth, shut her out. She hid behind the phrase, her version of the truth, a line that cut Ashley deeply. When Ashley revealed Gabe's inappropriate texts, the messages he sent her when she was 16, Trina didn't hold Gabe accountable. She held Ashley responsible, and that blame destroyed their relationship. When Tamar learned all of this, when she realized she had been kept in the dark for years, she snapped. She put Ashley on her podcast, offering the platform her niece never got. She let Ashley speak without fear. She let her see what it felt like to finally be heard. But the moment that happened, the Braxton family lawyer stepped in with a cease and desist letter. A silencing tactic straight out of the family playbook. This is what pushed Tamar over the edge. This is what cracked the truth open. And this is what exposed how deep the dysfunction ran. When Tamar confronted her sisters, they weren't ready for the truth she carried. They weren't ready to see how their silencing, their denial, their refusal to listen had damaged not just Ashley but Tamar, Tracy, and generations of Braxton women before them. It was bigger than any rumor, bigger than any man, bigger than reality TV. It was about breaking generational curses, the ones rooted in pain, secrecy, and silence. Toni Braxton, tired of being placed in the center of the chaos, walked off. She didn't scream. She didn't argue. She simply removed herself because she had spent her entire life holding this family together. And this time even she couldn't carry the weight. What fans saw in that explosive fight wasn't just drama. It was generational trauma erupting after decades of brewing beneath the surface. Sisters who loved each other but never learned how to communicate. Children who were hurt but never healed. Adults who protected abusers instead of protecting their daughters. Secrets passed down like family recipes. Towanda, with her quiet, sneaky moves, her alliances with producers, her alleged leaking of Tamar's personal trauma to television hosts. Trina, with her denial, her deflection, her refusal to support Ashley. Michael's family, with decades of pain never addressed. Evelyn and Mr. Braxton, with old wounds they never mended. And Tamar, the loud one, the emotional one. The one who gets labeled the problem for daring to say what everyone else is too afraid to confront. This wasn't the collapse of a family. This was the truth finally rising to the surface. And once the truth rises, it never goes back down.